finger. So what do we do is, when you test this, you understand that your clay is ready for making jewelry. So the first step is over. We'll move on to the second step. Always have a cloth for cleaning. Second step would be making this into a small round ball. Okay, second step is making this into a small round ball. You just have to keep it in between your palms and just roll it. I'm doing it on the other side of the camera. Just keep it in between your palms and roll it nicely. And you get something like this. It may not be very perfect because we are anyway going to flatten this. So you don't have to worry about the shape. Now I'm greasing my table with oil. I'm using coconut oil. You people can use any oil. Any oil can be used. The sole purpose of the oil is only for greasing the table so that the clay doesn't stick to it. Okay. So now after that, I'm just pressing this. What do we do next? We are going to roll it. I'm using a small pipe for rolling. You can even use a chapati roller that's available in the kitchen. So the first thing that we are going to make is pendant. So we should avoid this sticking. That's why we are applying oil. So as for the pendant, the thickness can be more than 5 and less than 6 millimeter. Okay. You don't have a tool to measure this. You just have to have an eye measurement for this. I'm trying to make it smooth. Now this would be the second step. You have flattened your clay. So what will be the third step? You have to draw a shape on this and we are going to see how to do the cutting. So that will be the third step. So how am I going to draw? I'm going to use a small pin for drawing. The pin here, it's called an eye pin, EYEPIN. It's called an eye pin. The purpose of the eye pin is not for drawing, but it's for something else, but still it can be also used for drawing and cutting purposes. And you can use any tool that you prefer for drawing, any tool that will be able to produce an image for drawing. So right now I'm going to draw a square over here. I'm not using any tool for drawing the square. I'm just doing it with a free hand. So you can easily draw this. You see, I have a triangle now. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this triangle. How am I going to cut the triangle? Just a second. I'm going to use a small cutter to cut the triangle. Be very careful when you're using the tool. Okay. So we just leave the leftovers here and we see what we have to do with this one. Now that you got a triangle, this is going to be the base for your painting, okay? Or your pendant. Now what I do is I take little water again and I smoothen out all the edges with water. Guys, if you have any doubts, please, you can just put it up in the chat box. Any doubts regarding whatever we are making, you can just put it down in the chat box. So the next step is to prepare this surface for the pendant. Swapna is asking me, can I make jewelry and dry it in the shade? Yeah, drying is a big process, Swapna. It involves drying it everywhere. So you have to keep it in the shade as well as the sunlight. You have to do both the things. I'm trying to remove that line from there. I'm not using oil, I'm using water. Since you people are not asking, it's not oil that I'm using, it's water that I'm using to correct that line. No, Swapna, baking is not required for air dry clay. Okay, so now the triangle is ready. The next step would be inserting a pin. The next step would be inserting a pin. The same eye pin, we are going to be inserting the same eye pin. You just have to pierce this pin straight through the center. Without the pin coming through the front side or the back side. Okay. So the pendant is ready. Now we'll see how to make designs on this. Next step will be we will slowly make designs on this. Even after inserting the pin, before doing the design, anywhere you feel has to be more softer, just use water for it. You can just keep it in a airtight box, Swapna. Don't keep it open. Don't keep it in the air. You can just keep it in a box. That will be good. Yeah, no problem. So now we are going to see how to make designs on this. Check if it's properly ready, all the sides. And then I'm going to be using the same eye pin to make the designs, but you can use any tool. You can use any tool that is sharp for making these designs. So I am going to be using a eye pin. And take an eye pin that is nice and straight. We will use this clay while we are making earrings. For that, we will make the pendant. I'm going to be using this same pin. What design are we going to draw? We're going to draw lines first. Be careful not to apply too much pressure. Because when there is so much pressure, there are chances that you will cut clay off. brush all the excess outside. So we have drawn lines. Is it visible? You can use anything. You can even use a knife or you can use a toothpick, anything that you're comfortable with for drawing. You can try. You just have to try with all of the tool that you think can be used for drawing and find out which is your comfortable tool, okay, for using. So now I'm leaving this pendant here and we are going to see how to make matching earrings for this, okay?
Yeah. So, hi, ma'am. I'm Pratiksha this side. Tanya is having some emergency for which I am here right now.
Okay,
So,
okay.
do any one of you have any question for ma'am? Like, I cannot see anyone on camera. I cannot see any doubts in the chat box. Like, we don't want such, quiet class. So, can I see the cameras getting switched on quickly? Shweta, Garisha, Amruta, Charvi, Beauty, Aryan, Swapna, Jess, Pallavi. Quickly, can you guys just turn on the camera? Okay, I can see Charvi has turned it on. Okay. And any doubts till now you are having? Any doubts which you are having regarding uh, what ma'am is making and teaching you guys? Do you have any doubts? You can just unmute and talk, or else you can just write it down in the chat box as well. No doubts?
So we are moving on to the earrings. We're going to repeat all the processes. Just no problem, Just I'm trying to make another piece of jewelry where we are doing everything from the beginning. So the first step is called kneading. You can observe from here. It's just mixing a few drops of water with your clay to make it smooth. And the second step will be rolling this. Rolling is just making it into a small ball by just rolling it in between your palms, okay? So what is the next thing that we are going to do? Grease the table with a little oil because we don't want clay to stick on it as we are going to roll this thing. I'm using a small roller to roll this. And the thickness of the earring can be 3 centimeter. Should not go less than 3 centimeter because it would become very thin then. 3 millimeter, I'm sorry, I repeat 3 millimeter. Not less than that. So now we are going to make 2 small triangles to match the earring. Let's do 2 triangles. So when you're making the earrings, you have to make sure that they are symmetrical. That is more important. You can't make two earrings with two different sizes. So make sure the size looks same, symmetrical. Guys, it's absolutely fine if you want to use a ruler for this thing. I'm just not using a ruler. I'm just doing it with eye measurement, but it is completely fine if you want to use a ruler for measuring this triangle part. Because if you think you won't be able to do it, if you think you won't be able to do it by free hand, you can absolutely go for a measured one. And then first I remove all the excess things here. Now let's sharp it in the center. Now we'll get the exact shape. Wherever I find something excess or something not correct, I will just use the same thing to sharp it off. So we are repeating the same for the other earring. We'll stone pack the clay. And then we smoothen the earring part. We can use water. We will be using water. We are using natural clay today. Yes, we are using natural clay. It's otherwise called terracotta clay. So we are using water to smoothen the surface. And repeating the same for the other one. After I've completed this, we are going to put the eye pin like how we did for the pendant, except that we are going to put a eye pin of a smaller size. I will cut the big eye pin into a small pin using the wire cutter or a jewelry cutter, and that pin we will be inserting inside inside the earring. Okay. So now I'm going to insert the pin. I take two pins. I just chop them into small pieces, and we are going to insert this in the earring. After inserting, we are going to try to make the same design on the earring. Because this is a matching set, we are going to replicate the design that we did on the pendant on the earring. So I'm using the eye pin for drawing. See how many lines can fit in here. And then you're going to do the same lines on the other one as well. Because as I told you, symmetry is important. So I'm done with one earring. I'm going to do the second one now. So we draw 4 lines again here. Shape it out wherever needed. So now we have a pair of earrings and a pendant. Okay. Now the next step would be letting this dry. We can't paint, we can't join all this together, we can't add anything to this. We have to just let it dry, and we can continue with all the rest of the processes only after it is dried. Okay. So if you have any doubts, just please put it up in the chat box. Any doubts regarding whatever we've seen?
Guys, any questions you all are having? Shweta, Charvi, Garisha, Vandana, Jess, Pallavi, Swapna. Any questions if you guys are having, you can ask it because it seems so quiet and all. Okay, no doubts. Okay, fine. Can you show some of the finished jewelry that you have made? Explain drying and coloring, please.
Yeah, showing the jewelry, yeah, we will do that in some time. And drying and coloring is an entire process that takes a long time, because drying is not going to happen in one day. It's going to take about 4 to 5 days, and only after the jewelry is dried we can go for the coloring.
Yes, and guys, don't worry with that because we do have a full masterclass where we are going to show you each and everything in detailing. Okay, so you're going to learn it, and also that's a certified course. So if you're planning to start your own business, you can even start that, and that's the reason we have designed the masterclass for you guys. And I will be sharing that details with you in some time. Till then, ma'am, if you have anything else, you can continue.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying, ma'am, if you have anything more to cover, then you can continue and we can take up the questions.
No, dear, that's it.